In the previous session, we discussed how to identify the subject from the given active voice. We also discussed how to convert pronouns from their nominative case into their objective case in the passive voice. Today we are going to discuss how to identify the object from the given active sentence. Students, let us look at the first sentence carefully. I read the sentence, my brother has bought a book. In this sentence, my brother is the subject of this sentence, as this part denotes who is performing the action, who is the doer of action, and that is why my brother is the subject of this sentence. Now let us move to the second component of this sentence, bought. This is action denoting word and therefore it is verb. Now let us come to the last part of the sentence, a book. So a book is the object of this sentence. How did I find out this object? So the simple way to find out the object from the given sentence is that you just ask a question with the WH word, what? What has my brother bought? The answer is a book. So this is how the object from the given sentence is identified. Now let us come to the second sentence. My brother has bought 3 books. In this sentence also, my brother is the subject because this part shows who is the performer of the action, who is the doer of the action, and therefore my brother is the subject of this sentence. Once again, we have the verb bought here, and if we ask a question with the WH word, what has my brother bought? The answer is 3 books, and therefore 3 books is the object of this sentence. Now let us compare the object from the first sentence and the second sentence. In the first sentence we have the object a book, which is in a singular form, because if we look at this object carefully, there is an article a, and therefore a book is the singular object. Now let us come to the object from the second sentence, 3 books. So this object is in a plural form. So it is very important to notice whether the object is in a singular form or plural form, because while converting the active voice into passive voice, we are going to begin the passive voice with the object, and this subject will be placed at the place of the object. Now let us come to the third sentence. I read the sentence, my brother has bought 3 books of grammar. Again, in this sentence, we have the same subject, my brother. We have the same past participle form of the verb. Now, 3 books of grammar. So this whole part is the object of this sentence. If you ask a question with the WH word, what, to this sentence, what has my brother bought? The answer will be 3 books of grammar. And therefore this part, 3 books of grammar, is the object of this sentence. Students, sometimes we fail to identify or find out the complete object from the sentence. Sometimes by mistake we break the object, we split the object, and therefore while converting the active voice into passive voice, we may not write down the complete and correct object in the beginning of the sentence, and therefore our sentence from the passive voice may not be correct. So in this way, the object is identified from the active sentences, and once you find out the correct object from the active voice, then you can go ahead transforming the active voice into passive voice. See, this is active sentence. I have converted this sentence into passive sentence. As I told you, when we transform active sentence into passive sentence, and this one is passive sentence. So what do we do when we transform active voice into passive voice? The first important step is we change the place of subject and object. We write down this object in the beginning of the passive voice. Then we write down the suitable helping verb after the object. If you look at the sentence, the helping verb is has because the subject is in singular form. But now we have swapped this object in the beginning of this passive voice. Since the object is in a plural form, 3 books of grammar, and therefore I selected the plural form of this helping verb have. And again we have here past participle form of the verb, and after past participle form we have to use preposition by, and then we have to write down this subject at the end of the passive voice. So this is how the sentence from active voice is converted, is transformed into the passive voice. Now let us come to the first sentence. How can we transform this first sentence into passive voice? The sentence from the passive voice will begin with the object. And what is the object from the given sentence? A book. Since the object is in a singular form, a book, we will use the helping verb has here. Then been, past participle form of the verb bought. A book has been bought. After past participle form we have to use the preposition by, and then at the end of the passive voice we have to swap this subject at the end of the passive voice. So this is how we have converted this active sentence into passive sentence. Let us come to the second sentence. My brother has bought 3 books. So we are going to convert this active sentence into passive sentence. The passive sentence begins with the object, and what is the object from the active sentence? 3 books. Now here, as the object 3 books is in a plural form, therefore we have to use here the plural form of the helping verb have. 3 books have been. Again we have to use the past participle form, third form of the verb bought. Actually the base form of this verb is by. The second form of this by is bought, and past participle form is also bought. And therefore, we have written the sentence in this way: 3 books have been bought. Again, we will use the preposition by here, and at the end of the passive voice, we have to shift or swap this subject at the end of the passive voice. And what is the subject? My brother. So this is how we have converted this active sentence into passive sentence. Okay, this is active sentence, this is passive sentence. Students, so in this way, while transforming the active sentence into passive sentence, we need to make sure whether the object is in a singular form or plural form. We also need to make sure the object we have pointed out or identified is complete or not. So while converting into passive voice, we need to make sure all these things. So this is how the active sentence is transformed into passive sentence following certain steps. So I am sure that you must have understood the process of transformation from active sentence into passive one. So I conclude my lecture here. I stop here. Thank you.